I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 490. That's correct. Episode 490 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, November 7th, 2025, as the countdown to episode 500 continues. Our final 10 episodes are here. And I just want to say again from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for coming on this journey with us for almost a decade and making this podcast what it's been since 2016. I am the one and only, the nefarious one, the brother Adam of all brother Adams, aka Joshie Lopez. You can hit me up on X if you like, at the Hoots Podcast. Instagram, I'm at Josh Lopez Music. Hit us up on our YouTube channel right now, at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. We're on YouTube right now. We're at 832 subscribers as of recording this, and appreciate all the new wave of subscribers we've been getting on YouTube lately. It's been pretty dope to see. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers on that end, but make sure to subscribe if you're checking this out on YouTube right now. The Hoots Podcast comes to you free of charge anywhere you get podcasts from. The home of the Hoots Podcast is Odyssey, so big shout out to the folks at Odyssey for having us on their platform, and we appreciate the support. And yeah, we're just excited, man. This is a lot of stuff to look forward to. We just got off the heels of Saturday night's main event. We got another about 3 weeks away, I think, from Survivor Series War Games in San Diego. 15, yeah, 3 weeks. So 3 weeks from tomorrow night, we'll get to Survivor Series, the last PLE of the year, and then we got John Cena's last match in Saturday Night's main event on December 13th, so we'll get into that as well. Other plugs, I would say, comment down below, especially with the announcement with John Cena's Last Time Is Now tournament, which will be beginning this Monday on Raw. Who and what other matches would you like to see take place during this tournament? Make sure to comment down below, either here on YouTube or on our podcast channels, and I would love to get some feedback from you guys. Also, would be remiss without mentioning, please check out my my day job and my play-by-play transcripts on the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com, and or my own website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. So, before we get to this week in WWE, we got questions, of course, as always, from the Back Porch Q&A session. Thank you to the good brother Chris Zaletta at XTeamZaletta24X at the Twitter machine. I do want to come in here and say, like I said, we do have 10 more episodes left. It will actually be 9 after today. But I do want to say that even though we do have 10 episodes left, I do want to extend the invitation out to anybody who would like to come on the show before we get to episode 500. Sorry for any noise in the background. The invitation's out. If you've been on the show before, if you are a former co-host, a good brother, a colleague of mine, the invitation's out there. Of course, I would love to have all the good brothers join me for the final episode, which will be episode 500, and we'll probably do that on a video platform like StreamYard or something like that for sure for 500. But it's out there, man. We got 10 more of these left, so I hope you guys appreciate it and taking the stride. And it's an emotional process that I'm dealing with. These weeks keep flying by, but we're we're going to go out with a bang, and just want to say thank you all again for the support. It means a lot. I don't know what my future looks like when it comes to talking about wrestling in this space going forward. But I just hope that you guys know that I did my best, that I tried my best, and whether you guys feel that I was good at this or not, I'll leave that up to you. I do enough self-doubt as it is, but the question I've had in my head a lot, and I want to start off with the monologue this week, is just like, I feel like I've had success to a certain extent in this field due to longevity and probably more on what I've been able to accomplish with my transcripts, probably more than anything. I'm very proud of the stuff I've been pumping out from a transcription point of view, and I've been doing this now for over a decade. But when it comes to this podcast, like I have struggled with that within and internally, right? Like I've wondered, what is the Hoots Podcast? Like, was it a successful podcast? Did it serve its purpose? Did I contribute positively to the space in the community? Did the show matter to people? You know, I've had those questions run through my mind. And the other one, which is going to be the title of this episode this week, kind of ties in with a lot of things right now that I'm just observing with the stuff with the wrestling these days. It's just like, I feel like a lot of ways us as content creators kind of lost the plot. Right now, like you see content creators with blue check marks acting like the sky is falling and the wrestling business is such a lull, and that we're at rock bottom creatively from all the companies. And like, I mean, hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm not going to come here and debate you about wrestling and what's in your feelings. But more now, and maybe just my opinion, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the more the days go by, I see the same people with the same following, with the same opinions, just blur out shit just for the sake of retweets and clout. You don't really feel that things are at rock bottom. You're just saying shit just to say shit. Because the booking on the shows are not up to your standards. Fucking Solid Monster and his elitist ass. Or JD from New York. Same shit. So, because the booking doesn't go to the way you want it to go, that means that's the reflection of how down bad the industry is right now. And that's not how this shit works. It doesn't. I've seen really down periods while creating and recording this podcast for the last 10 years. I've seen bad periods of the business. This is not one of them. I've seen a lot worse. Yeah, could things be better? Absolutely. Do I dread sometimes having to cover SmackDown sometimes? Yeah. The theme song for the show sucks. The flow of it is not good at times, and it's like the same main events each week, and there's just no sense of urgency with SmackDown. But I'm not going to come here and shit on it every week and be like, oh, this is the worst thing of all time, blah, 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 blah. I hate my job because I got to cover SmackDown. You're talking to a person who's been in love with professional wrestling since I was 4 years old. Now, that makes 27 years of watching professional wrestling and loving it. It's my mental escape. Why? I don't get it. Maybe I can understand for people who have, like, a wife or kids, you know, that their schedule, it just catches up to them and it burns them out, and then they take that out on wrestling, or they come up with reasons why to not do their content. You have kids, you got a family and a wife, I get it. No harm, no foul, I get it. But for the other people that are single and claim to be the smartest people in the room, and they're not in a relationship, they don't have any kids, all they do is go on Twitter all day and bitch and moan about booking, because that seems to be the only thing wrestling fans care about in 2025. they go on these fucking soliloquies that make no sense. They ramble on and on. They talk in circles. And at the end of the day, it's like, why the fuck are we watching this? Why are we talking about it if all we're going to do is fucking shit on it? What are we doing? So you can take the approach of like, hey, I watched the show. I try to learn something from it each week, good or bad. It's okay to learn from the bad things. And, a lot of people like to project and be like, oh, if I was booking this, I would have done such a better job. I'm already hearing it now about the John Cena tournament. Oh, they should have let me book the matches. and how convenient Solid Monster this week's like, oh, LA Knight should be the World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, LA Knight should be the World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, what harm would it do for LA Knight to have a short title reign? What harm would it do? You're the same motherfucker that would bitch about somebody that was getting on the rise, and then they would have their title reign cut short, and then you would throw a hissy fit about it. You're a fucking hypocrite, bro. You are. Both of you are. Oh, LA Knight should be the World Heavyweight Champion. Okay, guess what, everybody? LA Knight wins the World Heavyweight Championship, then what? That's the question. Because we all did this song and dance with Daniel Bryan. Oh, Daniel Bryan's being held back. What's the buzzword this week for Fightful? Oh, WWE swimming upstream to not push LA Knight, right? Okay, we're not going to push Daniel Bryan. He wins the title, and then what? We can keep going. Oh yeah, Kofi Mania. Kofi wins the title, and you guys sit on your hands during the fucking summer and don't care about his title reign. And sit on your... Oh, hey, we got Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler in the title feud. Two guys that we loved for years, that we wanted to be in the main event scene. But guess what? They have a pay-per-view program feud, and everybody's sitting on their fucking hands. Or the Randy Orton matches. Oh, how about this one? Drew McIntyre. Oh, yeah, we got this new guy, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre should be the WWE champion right now. Okay, then what? Because guess what? When he became the champion and beat Brock Lesnar, you guys used him as a scapegoat towards your anti-WWE narratives during the pandemic. And just shit all over his title reign. Not even 3 months after beating Brock Lesnar, you had the same people like Solid Monster and JD and Meltzer and Alvarez and etc. saying, oh, Drew McIntyre should turn heel. Oh, he still is a babyface. Not even 3 months after winning the fucking title at WrestleMania during the pandemic. The guy's carrying the freaking company on his goddamn back, and you're worried about him turning heel. I think, in general, the wrestling media space has lost the plot. And then I sit back here and I ask myself, did I fail you guys? Did I fail you? Another wrestling example. Jey Uso. Oh, WWE never capitalizes on performers when they're getting organic reactions from the crowd, and they just ignore when people are getting over by themselves without being shoved down their throats. Okay, Jey Uso gaining momentum all the way past WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 40, and then going into 2025. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. Now people have a problem with it. Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship. People have a problem with it. You don't know what you want. And that's one of the things about this space that I can't stand. And why I'm just burnt out about talking about professional wrestling, because you guys don't look at the bigger picture. You have no substance to the debates and arguments and soliloquies you guys go on about. You're biased for specific promotions show each and every single day. There's, like I said, there's just no nuance to any of these conversations. Everything has to be black or white. And half the times, you guys make your opinions out as if they're goddamn facts, and they're not. You have a take. Guess what? 99.9% of the time is ass. Kind of like me having to try to watch AEW these days and not fall asleep. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, I try my best to, like, keep my mind away from the whole AEW system. We don't talk about it on the podcast anymore. And I'm like, alright, you know, the biggest thing to send a message for your indifference for a company, don't say anything about it. And I haven't. You don't see me hate tweeting the show or tearing it down every single week. I keep it to myself. But Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, you're going to tell me that AEW's been delivering more riveting stories in 2025? Like, what the fuck show are you watching? Oh, Mercedes Moné and her new prop every 3 weeks. Nobody wants to have the conversation about her being probably one of the biggest flops in that company's history. There's been no return on investment for a performer that you're labeling the CEO. You could drop fucking 25 championships on her shoulders and around her waist. It still doesn't mean shit. She's not bringing in new viewers. She's not elevating the brand. She hasn't elevated the women's division. So for the same girl that whined and bitched and left WWE about Ronda Rousey is practically acting like Ronda Rousey. I'm not gonna go down this rabbit hole, but like, here I am. I'm sitting here. I'm asking myself, why do I feel like I'm a failure? Right? Was this show a failure? I feel like I failed you guys because you guys still keep clinging on to people like the same shows, the same rhetoric, and I feel like we're losing the plot of being wrestling fans, and it's really a damn shame. So in a lot of ways, I feel like I have failed you guys. Do I feel like a failure because the show didn't become, you know, having people fly me out to WrestleMania media events and stuff like that? No. You know, a lot. I used to look at it that way back in the day, but I also have to realize that a lot of those shows that got to go to those shows got to go there for free because the companies that they work for. You know, this was a DIY project, and I didn't have the means to make it happen a lot of times, you know. And I leave it up to you. I mean, like I said, we had 10 more episodes left, and after that, I'm done. I'm not saying that I'll never talk about wrestling again on the podcast, but it's going to take a lot for me to do that. So, we have 10 more of these left, but the real question is, and I want to know for you guys as we get closer to episode 500, did I fail you guys? Was this show a failure? That's what I want to know. On that note, that is the monologue this week. When we come back, we'll get to what happened this week in WWE, and then answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 490 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back, everybody, to the Hoots Podcast. This is episode 490. Time to talk about what happened this week in the world of WWE. We're going to get to Saturday night's main event in just a couple of seconds, but I wanted to play a clip here. Triple H did a panel show the other day for the All In brand. And I thought this was some interesting comments from him. It's from the All In Summit. And the question posed here to Triple H is kind of the differences from WWE and UFC. I think you guys may have seen the clip that kind of went viral this week about him saying that WWE is not just telling stories just to have matches. He's not just booking matches just for match sake. I wanted to play this in its full nuance and its context, because again, my field is too lazy, and they find the simplest thing to validate their narratives and use that without playing the entire conversation. So here's that in a nutshell.
The one thing about WWE is we're a fun reflection of the world. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be fantastical. It's supposed to let you come to an event for 3 hours and just turn off and enjoy entertainment and some type of representation of the world that is around you. But people get lost in it, and they begin to take the representations too seriously sometimes.
So then, can you contrast and compare then maybe WWE? And for a long time, I had a really hard time because of my fascination with wrestling, migrating to MMA. But MMA has really taken over a lot of the zeitgeist, especially amongst younger generations of men. Do you feel pressure to make it more physical or more like it? Or how do you think these two things play? What role do they play, I guess, maybe in American society?
I think they're total opposites. Like, MMA is just, it's competitive, it's competition, that's what it's based on. Though best when, and you can look at that world, and I don't want to get too deep into their world, but you have a Conor McGregor come along. If Conor McGregor came out of retirement tomorrow and said he's fighting in 4 months, it would be massive, right? The amount of people that would gravitate towards that, the ticket sales, the viewership would be intense. When's the last time he fought? And when is the last time he won? Mm-hmm. Right? It's forever. What people are buying is that cult of personality. Right? It's the same in our business. We tell stories. I'm less, and people within our business sometimes take this wrong, but we don't write the shows based on that'll be a great match. We write it on the stories that we can create. The protagonist, the antagonist, how does that work with each other? Telling stories that can resonate with people that maybe they've experienced in their real life, some type of fantastical version of that.
So is there a writer's room?
There is a writer's room. We have a large staff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's a show right now on Netflix called Unreal, and it is for the first time ever a look behind the scenes at what we do. We let cameras into the writer's room. We let them backstage at our shows, so you see the production of the shows. You see what goes into it. You know, there's months of planning that go into stuff. We're looking now at WrestleMania in Vegas in April, and what those matches are going to be and how we want to get there. What is the storyline arc that takes us there over time? I would say we're much more akin to like the Marvel universe, where you're planning out long term where the movies fit and how they go with all the characters, than we are, direct MMA. At the end of the day, direct MMA is, or UFC, it's you're booking matches, and the interest is that guy's really good, he's really good, I'm not sure who's going to win, let's put them together. When you get the right personalities involved, then it explodes.
Paul, I want to go back to this iconic Attitude Era, which is also what we call it when Chamath has his third glass of red wine at the poker game.
Yeah.
It gets a little spicy. It got very physical, and there's this sort of backyard wrestling, and there's this incredible iconic movie, The Wrestler.
Yes.
This does take a toll on your body, although you're not making full contact. What toll has it taken on your body? What toll does it take when you guys are soaring 10 feet, 15 feet in the air at, I don't know what you are at max weight, 200-300 pounds of just muscle landing? Like, what happens to your knees, your back, the whole thing?
Yeah, it's a physical business.
Yeah.
Right? We have a few sayings in our business. One, it isn't ballet, right? And that's not to knock ballet, because I couldn't do that, though many people would want to see me try. It's a physical business, and no one walks away unscathed. Right? But we have probably one of the most robust medical programs in athletics. So we're scanning constantly for everything, physically as well as head injuries, everything, right? So we're way on top of that. Didn't necessarily used to be that way. As things have improved, we've gotten there. The trick in our business is to make it look incredibly physical without being incredibly
That's where
physical.
I was going with this is, it's been Sax's dream. He was telling us when we were doing the show notes yesterday during the rehearsal, it's been Sax's dream all this time to be involved in wrestling. He feels like it was like a career path he didn't get to take. So is there any way, given what you've done, that you could lift sacks right now? Who wants to see you lift sacks? Come on. Triple H versus...
So there was a pitch for me to do that here and put David through this.
I just want to see you lift them.
Though when I approached him on it, he said he was holding out for a bigger moment in the Oval Office. So what I'm going to do here...
Come on now. You know that you could break Freeberg in half. He weighs 110 pounds right out of the shower. But Sachs did the Ozempic and he added 10 pounds of muscle. How easily can you lift that man?
It's called a bump, Jason. I'm not ready to take some bumps here today.
Let's
One of the
lift
things that I
Sachs.
found interesting is he's talking about your fandom, but he's walking around back here with a handheld speaker.
Yes.
And in his own entrance music, his entire run backstage was running around,
Fair enough.
getting ready for the main event of WrestleMania before he came out here.
So you're saying you want to lift me? Hey. All right. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask a question on the business of wrestling.
You got to sign the waiver.
Yeah.
I'll sign step. Let's go.
We see a lot of bifurcation happening generally in media and content. The live events are just making so much money, whether it's concerts or basketball games, and those industries are seeing revenue and profits kind of escalate. And then the traditional broadcast fiction's kind of dying. Like the margins aren't there, the viewership's down. How does the bifurcation work for your business, digital, and kind of like the content stuff that you're doing digitally versus the live? And like, is digital going to be like a growing piece of the business for some time, do you think? Or is it really a live experience?
Well, it's a live experience, but I think all those things lead you to the live experience. So where do you tell the stories that get you to want to go to the live event? We tell those stories across digital platforms. We have right around 1 billion social media followers across the globe. We're one of the largest social presence. I'm not a stat guy, so I'll screw some of this up, but #1 YouTube channel across all sports. I'm not sure where we're at, but we're in the top 10 of YouTube channels across everything. Our social presence is second to none.
Do those monetize on their own, or
they do monetize, but we also see them as drivers to everything else, right? So our products now, Raw airs domestically in the U.S. on Netflix, but is viewed globally on Netflix every place else, right? So outside of the U.S., Raw, SmackDown, all our shows are on Netflix globally. Monday nights on Netflix globally, Tuesday nights NXT, which is our sort of AAA baseball or our college football, if you would, that airs on the CW cross broadcast. Friday nights we're on USA with NBCU still. We have Saturday night's main event on Peacock. We just
does their audience still have an affinity for live? Or are they still big into
1,000%. So our biggest events are PLEs. We just did a game-changing announcement where we're moving them over to ESPN here starting up, and nobody does large-scale build to events like ESPN does, so that will be massive for us. We've always sort of been in the forefront of that. When WrestleMania started, it was closed circuit. We pioneered closed circuit entertainment where you would go to a theater and watch broadcast. We pioneered pay-per-view industry. When streaming was just coming into play, we were one of the first movers we had our own WWE network. So when it was kind of Netflix and us, we then realized that over time, that's going to be a tech war that we're not suited for. It's not what we do. We pulled out of that. We went over to Peacock. We're now on Netflix. We're on ESPN. We're across the board.
Can you just bring us behind the scenes in this negotiation? Because you guys just signed a huge licensing deal. Maybe you want to tell folks the size of it, but how did you bid people against each other, and what were the different things that different folks want?
Well, the beautiful thing about us is with the amount of content we do, we're 52 weeks a year live. So when you talk about a content company that puts out entertainment, we are live Monday nights, 2 to 3 hours depending on the evening on Netflix. Tuesday nights 2 hours on CW. Friday nights 2 hours, and half the year is 3 hours on USA. Once a month, a 3 hour plus PLE Saturday night's main event quarterly or more per year. That's all live. That's all content that we're putting out on a regular basis. To go back to the live event experience, our live event, our ticketing, our live event experience numbers are off the chart, and that's global. We were just in Paris. We did a stadium in Paris. We did Lyon, France on a Friday night, a PLE on a Sunday night in a stadium in Paris, France, where we had 30,000+ there. And then we did Monday Night Raw from Paris in that same stadium with a little over 20,000 there from TV the next night. Came straight back to the U.S. So it's every single week that amount of live content.
That's incredible. 500 hours a year.
Yeah. But the way to see us is live. This will date me, and if anybody is a fan of the band Kiss, when they were in the 70s, were like the hottest live act in the world, but they weren't selling albums. They thought, if there's a way we could just get people to experience what we do live on an album, it will change the game for us. They did a live one. It exploded. When live albums didn't sell anything because they captured them live. It's the same for us. I say this all the time. If we want to make a WWE fan, if we're working with a partner and they're kind of on the fence or they're not super into what we do, we bring them to what we do live. We bring them to WrestleMania. We bring them to a stadium show. We bring them to an arena event. And when you have 30,000 people to 50, 60, 80,000 people in a stadium going insane, it is electric. There is no way that you leave there and go,
You think that's the antidote for social media?
I think social media leads you to it, but I think for a lot of people, this is just my theory, but I think COVID, that moment in COVID started to maybe show people that like objects aren't where it's at. That experiences are where it's at.
Yeah.
And especially shared experience. So when you talk about, your relationship with your dad, that was your thing. I hear that all the time. 50% or more of our audience comes with a child, comes with a family member. 40% of our fan base is women. We're one of the most diverse sports, if you want to look at it that way, or entertainment products out there. But the thing that I love the most is when I look in the crowd, when I'm running an event, I'm in the back and they're panning that crowd on camera, and I see what I clearly see as a grandfather with their kids and their grandkids sitting all together, freaking out over the show. And you know that grandfather was into Bruno Sammartino, and the dad was into The Rock or Stone Cold, and the kids now are into Roman Reigns or Rhea Ripley, or it's amazing, and it binds families together. It gives them something to enjoy together, and those shared experiences. At the end of the day, to me, a car is only worth the value of if you pack it with your family and you go somewhere with it and you remember the ride. That to me is it. It's the rest of it is amazing.
You're at the one.
All right. Good, really good stuff there from Triple H to All In. So really, really good stuff. All right, let's get into this, shall we? Saturday night's main event from Utah. Crowd was not that great. I'll be honest with you. I thought the show was good. I'm not really big into the whole letter grade stuff. Like, what are we in school or something? Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about grading things. I guess you guys can tell now, like, I'm at this stage where I really don't give a fuck at this point since I'm on my way out. Like, stuff that we used to, like, crow about, like, I don't care. It's been a long time, like, for years I've never really cared about the booking or how many wins and losses a performer has this year or blah, 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 blah. Like, that stuff just doesn't interest me anymore. So, when you look at Saturday night's main event as a whole, I thought it served its purpose. We had two child changes. Congratulations to Jade Cargill for becoming the new women's champion. She defeated Tiffany Stratton on a bum leg. And show kicked off with Cody and Drew McIntyre, which was a very, very good match. Cody taking kind of the by any means necessary approach, which I find kind of interesting. I'm recording this on a Friday morning here right now. It's 9:35, literally it's full shoot. 9:35 here on Friday, November 7th. The question I have in my mind is like, hey, is something up with Cody? I'm curious what's up with him, man, because he has some explaining to do tonight on SmackDown. I'm curious to see what he has to say. Do we finally get going with this Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton train? Tonight, SmackDown's in Greenville, South Carolina, the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, man. I have these certain arenas that are etched in my head for all the teams doing these transfers. Like, I know a good crowd from a bad crowd. This crowd in Greenville is kind of hit and miss. So, we go from Utah to Greenville, South Carolina, man. We'll see how the crowd is tonight. But anyways, Cody Rhodes defeated Drew McIntyre, retained his undisputed WWE Championship. We also had on the program, it was, just one second here, it was the third match. Oh yes, Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Rusev, the triple threat match for the IC title. Fantastic stuff. Just a really, really good match. Dirty Dom is one of the best performers of 2025, and it's not close. His pops are getting bigger as the weeks go by, and I couldn't be happier for that young man. And as I'm saying that, the segment that he had on Raw this past Monday with his dad was fantastic. I know a lot of people wanted to see Dominic Mysterio against John Cena. I understand that, but if you consider the fact that you have a father and son grudge match in San Diego where they're both from, it's gonna be hard not to go with that option, to be honest with you. Dominic and Ray for the IC title, a little different parameters from the last time they fought each other at WrestleMania 39. Dominic Mysterio is just killing it on all cylinders. The whole line about keep my father's name out your mouth was just absolute gold. He's the man. I don't have enough words to describe how good Dominic Mysterio is performing right now. So big shout out to Dom. And of course, we had the main event of Saturday night's main event, pun intended. We had CM Punk beating Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. So this kind of sparked some discourse amongst the community, because if you're an anti-Jey Uso fan and you're for the Meltzer Alvarez 5-star grappling classics, you probably were on cloud 9, because this was another vindication for you and just realization of, hey, Jey Uso is a great entrance. The crowd loves him and stuff like that, and then the bell rings. I've heard that saying a gazillion times. Then the bell rings. Did I think Jey Uso was the drizzling shits this past Saturday? No. Was that his best performance on Saturday? No. Could have been a lot better? Yes. Does that sully my feelings for Punk winning the title in Utah? No. We saw what happened on Monday night. Punk kicked off the show. Very good promos always to start off the show. And, he's like, I want to be a fighting champion. I want to fight all these guys. I want to fight... and he's like, I want to punch people in the face, right? He's like, I'm here to make money, win championships, and punch people in the face. That's the 3 iotas for CM Punk since his return to WWE, right? He's like, I want to wrestle people that have earned opportunities, like AJ Styles. He's like, Sheamus, hey, you want to have a banger? He's like, hell, Dominic, you can file yourself under the name of people that I want to punch in the face. He mentions the Vision, of course. And then, right on cue, this is what I love about WWE for this year, is just keeping people on their toes. And say what you want, we do this whole routine every time Logan Paul comes back. really, Logan Paul? Like, you remember when, after SummerSlam, when John Cena was like, alright, if he wants to come get some, and then it was Logan Paul, and everyone was like, oh, really? You're gonna waste a spot on John Cena's retirement tour on Logan Paul? Really? And then John Cena and Logan Paul ended up stealing the show at Clash in Paris. We do this all the time. So, the assumption train just goes crazy. Oh, it's going to be CM Punk and Logan Paul at Survivor Series for the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh, is Logan Paul joining the Vision because he knocked out CM Punk at the end of Raw this week? Oh, he gave Heyman the brass knuckles. Now, that has to mean Logan Paul is joining the Vision. Or, another example of somebody, doing business with somebody, knowing that we got a War Games match that we got to start building up sometime soon. If any of you guys thought that Logan Paul was joining the Division this past Monday, I don't know what to tell you. And secondly, and most importantly, the whole, really? Logan Paul? Really? This is the best you got to offer for the World Heavyweight Championship? Put some freaking respect on that man's name. I don't care if you don't like his politics or blah, 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 blah. This is not a morale form of entertainment space. There's shitty people on every form of entertainment and sports around the world. Do I have to agree with everything that they say in their personal life? No, because A, I don't care how they feel about shit, and secondly, it's none of my business. I don't care. I'm not going to support Logan Paul because he's a Donald Trump supporter. I don't give a fuck that he is. Guess what? I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. But am I going to shit on Logan because he is? That's so stupid. That's where society is today. Oh, if you're a fan of this person, then you're this, you're that. I'm not a Trump supporter. So am I going to shit on Logan Paul because he is? Or Tony Khan, who's a Trump supporter? Or Chris Jericho, who's is a Donald Trump supporter? You guys don't want to talk about the other side of the company. You don't want to talk about AEW with their MAGA feels. But it's only WWE because that's the narrative that we have to have. The evil anti-WWE with their raising ticketing prices because that's how fucking business works in 2025. And guess what? If CM Punk had a title match with Logan Paul, a one-off title match with Logan Paul on a PLE or Saturday Night's Main Event, so what? That would be good. You get people talk about it. It'd be a good match. And you tell me that Punk and Logan's promo battles wouldn't be good? I'm all here for Logan Paul. You guys can keep your fake outrage shit to yourself, to be honest with you. We had some really good matches on Raw this past Monday night. We had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee retaining against Judgment Day thanks to help from Sheamus. That was a good match. Bayley and Lyra against the Kabuki Warriors. If you guys haven't seen that, go out of your way to check it out. That was very good. Hell, I even enjoyed the Penta El Grande Americano match. That was the first match of the show. That was very good. El Grande was a busy man this past week. Then he had that match. Then he fought Josh Briggs on NXT this past Tuesday night. Some crazy stuff going up down there in NXT right now. We got Gold Rush coming up soon. Thea Hale did her best Joe Henry impression. I thought that was pretty funny. Say her name and she appears. I believe in Thea. I believe in Thea. Good stuff, man. But starting next week is some big deal business, guys. We got the Last Time Is Now tournament is going to begin. They announced already the first two matches with Sheamus and Rusev. not bad match. Sheamus and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev's taking on Damian Priest. That's going to be a barn burner. This two meaty man bump and burn, as Big E would say. Big meaty man slept meat. I think Adam Pearce said that Nick Aldis will be announcing 2 other matches tonight on SmackDown, so I'm excited to see which one of those matches are going to be. And there's an NXT element that's going to be added to the mix, and then there's people outside of WWE that's going to be involved. There's going to be a lot of fancy booking and a lot of like, oh, this should happen, that should happen. Just like I've been this entire time during John Cena's retirement tour. When it comes to this tournament, I'm just going to be in the moment and take it for what it is. Because we have the Boston TD Garden this Monday, Madison Square Garden next week, Survivor Series, and then Saturday Night's main event. We got 4 more appearances left for John Cena. Enjoy it. I can't stress this enough to you guys. Be in the moment and enjoy it. Stop overthinking yourself and tying yourself in mental knots over the booking of it. Just sit there and enjoy it. And that, folks, is what happened this week in WWE. We'll be right back. This is episode 490 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues. We'll be right back with the Back Porch Q&A session. Yeet! All right. One more segment to do here on the podcast of Hoots. Time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. With that being said, oh yes, let's stir it up. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris Zaletta at XCZaletta 24X on the Twitter machine. Let's do it. He says, on the boost, here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Favorite match from Saturday night's main event? I'm going to go with the... I'm going to go with either Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre or Penta, Rusev, and Dominic Mysterio. That was a fantastic match. Who from NXT would you like to see get placed in the John Cena tournament? I'll go with Trick Williams, Obafemi, Javon Evans, and let's see, who would be Ethan Page? How about that? Ethan Page. We'll go with Obafemi, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, and Javon Evans. Those would be my picks. Do you think Karrion Kross and Scarlett will eventually get back to WWE at some point? I would love to see them. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to. It would be cool to see that. I just don't know if it's going to. I think they said it publicly that the next big contract that they signed will be their last, and like they said, that's the company that they're going to be repping, all that. And I want the best for Cross and Scarlett. No harm, no foul. Big fan of both of them. So I would love to see them back in WWE, but I'll leave that up to them if that's something that they want to do. How are you feeling about the start to your Bull season? Pretty excited. They're playing well. They're playing the Bucks tonight. Starting off the season 6-1 is not a bad way to start off the basketball season. So that definitely help them out towards the end of the season, even if they have lulls throughout the season. But I liked what I've seen so far, and they're playing very well. So just got to take one game at a time. Kind of the same thing with the Chicago Bears, to be honest with you. Halfway through the NFL season, I think, how do you feel? Halfway through the NFL season, how do you feel? Okay, you're right. Mess me up here, Chris. Halfway through the NFL season, how do you currently feel about your Bears? You thinking wild card? I'm not there yet, Chris. We're talking about the Chicago Bears. We gotta take this stuff one game at a time. We got the Giants. They got a good defense. They're pesky. We gotta take this one game at a time. I'm excited that we're playing well and that we're not embarrassing ourselves each and every single week. So, but let's take this 1 week at a time. I would love for them to be a wild card team, but I'm not counting on anything at this point. Let's just take this 1 week at a time. If Chris Jericho was to return to WWE, let's say in 2026, how would you book his final run? Good question. I would start off with Chris Jericho going into the Royal Rumble and costing LA Knight the Royal Rumble, and Chris Jericho and LA Knight fight each other at WrestleMania. From there, you can have something where Chris Jericho has a program with Dominic Mysterio. We'll see if Dominic Mysterio is a babyface at the time. You have the history there. I think Chris and Dominic can do some good stuff together. A lot of this could change because of different rosters and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would love to see Chris Jericho have one more match with AJ Styles for AJ Styles leads. You know, Chris Jericho. I don't know if they're going to do Punk and Jericho again. Maybe because that's the nostalgia feel of it, and they had a great rivalry in WWE. They really did. But you know, Chris Jericho and Seth Rollins, I think would be very good. I think they've wrestled each other, but I don't know if they ever had a program with each other. I think Jericho and Seth would be very good, to be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I don't know if Chris Jericho wants to fight Gunther, but that'd be interesting. But I think Jericho could do some really good stuff, and I'm actually looking forward to him coming back. So, do you think the Colts made the best move at the trade deadline? No. I like Sauce Gardner, but I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for him. I'm just not. When I think about best moves, I'll be honest with you guys. The trade line did not impress me at all this year. None of it really stood out to me. There wasn't one move that I felt like, holy shit, now this season's going to be dangerous. Like, watch out. All of them were kind of like ho-hum type of trades to me, to be honest with you. Yeah, so... And that's also the kind of thing, you see a lot of these kind of like trades that happen before the trade deadline that kind of takes your wind out of your sails when it comes to like excitement for these kind of things. And I just didn't think it was a good trade deadline this year, to be honest with you. I'll be meeting Sting at Comic-Con this weekend. Oh, that's pretty dope. Awesome, man. For you, TNA Sting or AEW Sting? For me, TNA Sting all the way. I was a big fan of the Joker version of Sting in TNA, and he did a lot of great stuff in that company, so I'm going to go with TNA Sting. Who do you have winning this tournament to face John Cena at Saturday night's main event? I'm going with the Ring General. Boom! And on that note, I want to thank Chris for a wonderful batch of questions as always. Make sure to follow Chris at Twitter at Xscenes1124X at Twitter Machine. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on X at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram, Hoots Podcast on X, or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. But on that note, we're going to put a rim on the bow on this week's edition of the podcast at Hoots. You guys can follow me on X, like I said, at the Hoots Podcast, on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. If you're on YouTube right now, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on at the Hoots Podcast on our YouTube channel on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We appreciate the support. As always, the home for the Hoots Podcast is Odyssey. Make sure you get the podcast free of charge anywhere you get your podcast from. But type in the Hoots Podcast, it'll be right there for you to check it out. And on that note as well, don't forget to check out my transcripts. It's always in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com or ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. Love each and every single one of you. Have a wonderful weekend. And these weeks keep going by fast, man. So we're in our final countdown here. And this has been episode 490 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues. I love each and every single one of you. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet!
Bye-bye, bitch.